September 3rd, 2021. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast, Friday night. I'm Glenn Rubenstein. I can't even get my own name right. That's how tired I am. Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Alfred Konuwa and NYC Demon Diva Issa. Welcome, SmackDown, AEW Rampage, the build-up, the go-home for All Out. Very exciting. But man, 3 hours of wrestling. How are we feeling about 3 hours of wrestling on Friday now that we're a couple weeks into this?
Well, I'm so conditioned to it on Mondays that I just, it's actually a little better, because, Raw is just a slog. And I think it's part of that. It's the same show for 3 hours, doesn't get long, but that switch up and because there's such different shows, I think it's a little easier to watch 3 hours of wrestling on Fridays.
Yeah, I think it's a lot, but I do still watch Raw. I think there's a different pace to Rampage. Rampage just feels so like boom, boom, boom that it helps make it through that last hour. It's so quick. Like it feels like it starts and it ends. But it is a lot. It's 3 hours.
Yeah, and it does sort of make SmackDown and what they end with, it's a weird counter-programming rhythm for a wrestling fan because SmackDown tonight, it was like a half an hour main event segment. So it's interesting to go from that to the burner of a match that AEW started off with. It's interesting, unrelated pacing almost.
Right.
It's like hitting shuffle on your iPod and you're going from Stairway to Heaven right into November Rain. And you're like, oh, okay.
That happened to me the other day and it killed my whole workout. I don't know what I went from to something super weird. And I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah, you got to ebb and flow. The key to a good mix is about the ebb and the flow. You want some short stuff. You want some different energy. You want some complimentary stuff. But sometimes two long songs back to back sometimes is a little bit much.
I have a gym playlist. But instead of going to that, I just hit shuffle on all of my songs and didn't realize it until something super mood killer came in, and I'm like, God.
Yeah. So we have some news to get into and go through before we get to the shows. Alfred, I toss it to you.
Yeah, not all good news. Actually, some very, very sad news. R.I.P. to Daffney, real name Shannon Spruill. She was a WCW and TNA star. Very, very popular wrestling figure. Died at the age of 46. The day before yesterday, she posted a video on Instagram Live that really got people worried. It seemed that she was suicidal. She said a comment about sending her brain to Boston. And then, unfortunately, yesterday, her close friend Lexi Fife posted the following message through Shimmer. We are very sad to have to announce the passing of Shannon Spruill, a.k.a. Daffney Younger, Scream Queen. We are posting this at her request of her family. Please respect their privacy at this trying time. I'll miss you, my logical sister from another mister. So, unfortunately, Daffney, a lot of people from the WCW kind of Monday Night Wars era remember her. And then she had a great career also in TNA and had a lot of concussion problems and mental health problems. So that's been a big discussion here on Twitter and among the wrestling community. Yeah. R.I.P. Daffney has been trending for the past couple of days, which is really encouraging to see all the tweets that she's receiving. But a very sad story, of course.
Just so much love, such an outpouring of love in the wake of this. It's very, very tragic.
Yeah. She doesn't get enough credit, as you see a lot of the women today, and especially the top women, whether it's Ruby Soho, who we're probably going to see this weekend, Paige, a lot of women, even Liv Morgan of that vein, where it's kind of the oddball. She was pretty much the first, the Luna Vachons of the world were the first, the trailblazers of that type of a woman wrestler, because usually it's very monolithic, or it used to be very monolithic in terms of what they wanted out of women wrestler, and she went the complete different direction.
Yeah, she was truly ahead of her time, when she, the things that she was doing were very ahead of her time, and I'm hoping that we see maybe somebody pay homage to her on Sunday in the bio. Maybe somebody will wear the hat. I'm hoping that we see something, but it was a very sad and heavy story, and I feel it hit the wrestling community very hard, and it's okay to ask for help and find the sources. There's a lot of them out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so R.I.P. Daffney. In AEW news, it looks like one Max Caster has made his return to AEW. Of course, we were talking about this a little bit off air. I'm sure you guys are going to have more to add. But AEW Dark's tapings at the Now Arena in Chicago saw Caster return. He helped Anthony Bowens, his tag team partner, defeat Griff Garrison. Of course, he went missing from television. He was pretty much pulled off television after a controversial rap, led to a lot of Twitter outrage. Tony Khan famously stepped up and said he was going to take over the editing for that. Max Caster seemed to tease that he was leaving AEW, where he was selling some stuff, quote unquote, on eBay. But it looks like water on the bridge. Max Caster back in AEW, and I believe Issa, he was already saying things that are getting people stirred up on Twitter.
Apparently, I saw a couple of things throughout my timeline, and I was like, "What did he do now?" I gotta go and find the clip. I know Glenn was ahead of both of us on this one.
Well, I've seen people talk about it, so it's going to be on Dark next week. I almost don't want to spoil it because I think that regardless of what you think about the controversial segment that he did, and I know we disagreed about that, I think expertly is playing this and using it to pivot to something that's going to further solidify his name and legacy in AEW.
Yeah.
So taking a situation and turning it into a positive, and that, good for him to find a way to subvert that expectation.
Yeah, definitely. You always want to be careful. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Alfred, that you have to learn from those mistakes, right? If you haven't really set up the limits and they're going out there on Dark to do, as you tell them, go and do your thing, it's like, okay, so now you wanna change that procedure. You got to let them learn from it. You cannot just completely erase him off because he made one mistake, right? And that is his gimmick. So,
and that's the thing, man. Even if he crossed the line, even if you were offended, and I was offended by some of the stuff he said. I know a lot of people were. I know we disagreed about it, but if you have a reputation that you never know what's going to come out of your mouth when you're on the mic and you might cross the line, you almost never need to do it again because he's instantly going to be thought of as dangerous and unpredictable. And I think that can catapult him and he can turn this into a long-term positive.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I was about to say in terms of Max Caster using this real life controversy to better his character. And I'm always a fan of wrestling trying this. We've seen, the worst examples of wrestling using real life and incorporating in storylines, but I'm not averse to them trying that because you see a lot of the big superstars in modern day wrestling. Daniel Bryan, they took a sliver of real life of The Office not wanting him to main event WrestleMania. They made that the storyline. He became a huge star. Becky Lynch, kind of the same thing where at first she was they were holding her back, and they just decided to make a storyline out of that, and she ended up headlining WrestleMania. So I'm a big fan of when you take those slivers of real life, especially controversies, and you make them into the character. It's going to be great for Max Caster, hopefully.
I'd still like to see Julia kick him in the nuts, though.
Well, you never know. He'll have a bar for her if she does, I'm sure. But good to see Max Caster. I haven't seen it yet. AEW Dark. I'll make sure I tune in.
People are buzzing tonight. I was seeing more people buzzing about that than during a lot of SmackDowns. So
wow.
AEW's playing this well, I think.
Yeah, they should be using this. Controversy creates cash.
Yes. What else we got?
Final story, not as controversial. The Miz is reportedly set to compete on the next season of ABC's Dancing with the Stars. He's going to be in the 30th season. Wow, they've been on for 30 seasons.
Well, but they go like twice
Thursday,
a year.
September 30th. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Did they say who his dance partner is going to be? Did he get Peta? Oh my gosh, he's so good. I hope he gets Peta. Oh my God, I want to see him. Okay, I'm going to be Dancing with the Star nerd, clearly. So I'm excited for it. Listen, I did ballroom dancing for 15 years. It's not easy. I can see the Miz being as perfectionist as he is about his image. I think he's gonna try his best, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see him.
Following in the footsteps of other winners, perhaps like Donny Osmond. He'll make it all the way to the end.
Chris Jericho didn't do so well when he was on there, but he is following in the footsteps in terms of wrestlers of Chris Jericho.
I don't expect Chris Jericho to do a very sexy tango. I'm sorry.
Sometimes the most entertaining ones, like when Adam Cole was on, Adam Cole was entertaining as hell, but he got the boot after 3 weeks,
I saw Master P on it, and I thought that was very entertaining.
Nelly did great. Nelly was on it a couple of years ago, and he was awesome. He made it to the final.
Yeah. Exclusive news insider who must have the exclusive news and be an insider because they can afford this $19.99 super chat. Ooh. All caps. I'm not going to shout it. I will read it in a reasonable tone. Saying, I feel Brock is being set up to put Roman over to build him up for The Rock for Mania. But when Roman beats The Rock, then what? Think this whole heel Roman is far overdue. He should have been the one to break up the Shield. I said Roman's going to be raptured and just ascend to the heavens after beating The Rock because there'll be nothing left for him to do on this mortal earth.
I mean, you know what? I'm going to shut up.
I've been
drinking. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, I saw your Twitter tonight, and I was like...
We're late night. We're on 11:30 in New York right now.
Yeah, I saw your tweet about women's reaction to Roman. I almost replied with the image of Lil Nas X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the way that they Shield breakup went. I didn't think Roman was gonna be the one to break it up. I thought Ambrose before I would even say Roman. Yeah, I mean Brock and Roman has happened a lot of times already. You know, we can't just pretend that we got flashed with the Men in Black thing, and both of them have put each other over. So this is, I like the idea of the Paul Heyman tension here because it could be a whole different story from what we already seen from them.
Yeah, this is gonna be a great story. I'm if this is the same old Brock and the same old Roman, not only the Paul Heyman thing, but Roman Reigns is a heel now. Now we get to see Brock Lesnar with a ponytail and as a babyface. This is a completely different storyline.
I can't wait to see it at MSG next week.
Good build tonight. So before even getting to the story, I mean, let's pivot off that. Let's go a little out of order on this one. SmackDown tonight, we had the phone call to Paul Heyman from Brock Lesnar.
I just want to say that I have the exact same ringtone for Brock Lesnar on my phone.
You ever call?
No. But I am the first lady of Suplex City, so you know we have to be on each other's emergency contacts just in case.
Of course.
Yeah. This was good. I like how they're building the tension with this. Interesting that they're building this story so hard, and then what they teased with Finn Balor at the end, which we'll talk about. The direction they're going there. It's interesting in parallel these two storylines. We open tonight with the Usos versus the Street Profits, ending by disqualification. Look, we know this is a great match. We know this is going to be a great feud. Alfred, to you first. How many times are we going to see variations of this match and these guys facing each other in one-on-one contests, including the pay-per-view, the rubber match, and the final? Give me your over-under on this feud before they move on to something else. How many matches they're going to have?
Oh man, I hope it's not that many. I'll go. Let's put the over under at 3. No, and I mean that because I want this tag team feud to really stand out. Right. And the fact that we saw them in a tag team match felt special, and that's why I was so disappointed with the finish. But if this turns into like they start interchanging, and by the time they get to the pay-per-view, it's not exciting anymore. I think they've made a huge mistake with these two teams that could have a great match at a pay-per-view. So hopefully it's like, I'll say 2.5, and I'm going to take the under just to be conservative. Hopefully.
Okay. Issa, now counting 6-man tags, because I'm sure we're going to see Roman and Finn versus Street Profits. Usos, like all in. How many do you think in this feud?
I'm going to say 10.
Oh wow!
Oh, no.
and I'm including Bianca and Naomi, and then the Street Profits and the Usos. Like I'm going all out on this. We're gonna see. Well, when is Extreme Rules? We have like 4 weeks for it, right? I think.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think 3 or 4 weeks.
And there's a Saudi show, right?
Oh, yes. We don't talk about that. It's like, don't kill my bus. Don't kill my bus.
No, but I think I think 7. I think 7 is the amount of times we're going to see it on TV.
Yeah.
So this is combinations of these two teams facing.
Yeah.
I hope that they get either a ladder match or an Extreme Rules match between them. That would be awesome.
Yeah, see, that'll freshen it up if they're going to do that. That'd be a lot of fun, actually.
And they were fighting after the DQ finish tonight. So, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of heat in this. I think it'll be a good feud. Becky Lynch came out. Big pop tonight. What was with the sweetening of the audio mix, though, on her promo to try and get her that heel reaction tonight, dissing Bianca? I like to, what are you calling her, Esther? I was like, I think that just flew over the heads, though, of a lot of wrestling fans. Issa, what do you think of Becky's promo and then Bianca's response?
I was too mesmerized by Becky Lynch. She looks absolutely incredible. She was just stunning. Yeah, I had a girl crush moment for the entire promo. I thought the promo was great, and she was making some good points. So at this point, it's like there was a little bit of a boo towards Bianca, and I'm like, yeah, because she's making really good points. But Bianca came out and also made a lot of good points. I really enjoy when Bianca came out and said, you don't know me, because it's true. There's no history between Bianca and Becky. What is Becky out here, running her mouth? But when Becky said, you weren't ready for me and I was ready for this, like, I absolutely love that line. Love the way she looks. I think they're doing an amazing job building this feud because I'm very excited for it. I think both of them, I don't know. I feel it could go either way, and it makes it very interesting. But Becky Lynch, she's going to be a Stone Cold style character. She's not going to get booed. She's just not going to get booed. That music hits, and your heart just races. We love her. You can't push that narrative on us.
You know, I thought both of the women were great, and I'm already seeing in the comments some people are saying, "Oh yeah, Becky spit facts," and she was telling the truth and stuff like that. And I thought her promo was great because as a heel, she was defending something that she did that was unscrupulous, but at the same time making good points. And what I thought was a key to this is that Bianca Belair came out and I thought did a great job as a babyface, and not necessarily even making excuses, saying, "Yeah, I don't make excuses. I lost, but let's run it back. I just won." And then Becky got the chance to be, then you saw her true card. So this whole performance is great. I actually think just based on this promo exchange, this is going to tell us a lot in terms of how they interacted and these two big promos. I think this thing's going to work with Becky Lynch being a heel. I think slowly but surely, you're always going to have that built-in hardcore audience that's going to cheer for Becky Lynch. But to your point about how she looked, not that she didn't look good before or whatnot,
right?
But she looks like and I think she's playing this up as part of her character, like a hot girl, like unattainable. Like Becky Lynch of old is the man. You can have a beer with Becky Lynch. She's a cool Irish woman and whatnot. And she just seems like Eva Marie if she was like a super worker. And so I think this could work in terms of Becky Lynch, how she's aesthetically presenting herself. She's wearing those low riding, like she's presenting herself as an unattainable woman who is a badass. And I think that combination is really going to get her some real heel heat.
Yeah, and there's a lot of respect for her leaving, having a baby, and coming back looking better than before, because nobody said she didn't look good before. Becky Lynch has always been one of the fittest women in the division. So to see her looking even better, it's almost like she reached her final form. Like, what is happening now? And it's pretty amazing. At one point, when Seth was fighting Cesaro later, he's smiling, and Corey Graves said, Seth Rollins is smiling in the middle of the match, and have you seen his wife? I'll be smiling the entire day too. It's awesome. I really, really love both of these women, and I think this feud is going to be fun, regardless of, I feel they're two fan favorites, and that makes it even more interesting to just see the back and forward.
And Bianca went toe-to-toe tonight.
Yeah.
Bianca was incredible. I thought that was the key. It's because I thought, just like you guys were talking about in terms of her, when Becky Lynch was finished that promo, I was like, man, that's going to be, it's kind of an airtight defense, but I thought it was great how they handled it.
Yeah, this was cool tonight. Looking forward to this. And then Becky denying the match, but then Sonya and Adam Pearce saying, no, at Extreme Rules, this is happening. So there you go. Yeah. Contract signing next week.
It's going to go smoothly.
Do these out of order. Antoine Fair, $5 saying I was with it until Becky said Bianca was complaining, which she didn't do. It lost me. And Bianca ending of the promo was great. I thought this was good. But yeah, Becky is on their level. What were they doing trying to pipe in that audio tonight? Like, it made it sound like there was silence at parts. Like, it didn't match the crowd reaction.
At all.
They got used to doing this during the pandemic. I don't think they're going to be able to kick this habit.
And here's something else that's weird. The crowd, if you looked, was silent at one point. And that in WWE is almost unheard of. They were hanging on every word. There were no chants. There were no people yelling. Like, they were respectful. It was very strange. And that's why the audio, you could tell, you look at the audience is just standing there wrapped with attention, and the audio say something different. I mean, that was very disconcerting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think it's going to be normal.
Yeah. J. Kane, $5 saying, I told this to Issa. My daughter, who was battling cancer, also had thoughts of suicide, but she found Issa's story. Beat cancer. My daughter is alive. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Jay. I love you. We talked about that on my stream, and it means a lot.
That's great. So what are they doing with Naomi, man?
Oh, wait a minute. Let's talk about this. I actually happen to like what they did tonight, because I think they might be going in a racial direction with the storyline. I don't think it was subtle that the story that they're telling now, because I'm with you. Last week I was watching this like, oh great, they're doing the holding pattern thing, and now they're doing what I think is actually going on, in that, like, when she was done and she was too busy for Naomi, Sonya Deville snuck in, because WWE's not subtle about anything. She goes, okay, back to you, Karen. So like, I think they're telling the story that we don't have time for you. Give it time. We don't have time for the black girl. I do think that's the direction they're going with the storyline. We'll see what they do next week, and if they pick it up and they don't, I think it'll be very disappointing, but I really do think they're going that direction.
Interesting.
I thought they were going with her joining the bloodline. And the reason why I feel like it's going in that direction is because she was talking about, Sonya was talking about Brock Lesnar returning on her phone call.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was like just making it sound like Brock is such a big deal, and, like, Roman doesn't care about this whole Brock Lesnar thing. So I didn't catch the Karen line. So I might have to go back and watch this, because I didn't catch that.
Antoine Fair, $2 saying the Est chance was so bad. EST. See, when I think of Est, I think of, what was that cult from the 70s? The, like, human Oh, what was it? The human potential movement? Like you went to those seminars and they wouldn't let you go to the bathroom? Like est, look it up. It was huge. Yeah, no, it was a big deal. Like I remember in the early 80s, there were a lot of jokes about est. Like, yeah, it was like one of those like radicalization things, and then you found out it was like a pyramid scheme meets a cult. But yeah, the EST chants. I mean, can't and the Esther thing was clever with the way Becky was doing that. This
Did you see the super chat by Justin Lopez?
Oh, did I miss that?
Yeah, I think so. Because he said something about Becky spitting facts. How are we supposed to boo her when she was spitting facts? Which I agree with.
It's like Bret Hart with all his criticisms about America. You're like, well, he makes some very valid points.
Yeah, but he was supposed to be a babyface in those, in those promos, and they didn't do anything to make him heel. But I think here with Becky Lynch, like we were talking about, is she did make good points, but I think they presented her again by her cowering out, by Bianca Belair coming in and having a great retort every step of the way. I thought, listen, artistically, stylistically, I think they're doing a good job. Whether or not the crowd's going to be with it is a different story. But I do like Becky Lynch as an artist, and I do think she's going to be committed enough to make this work somehow. But it's going to take a while.
Justin Lopez also $1.99. I'm sorry, saying the next Usos versus New Day feud if booked well.
Yeah, the Street Profits and the Usos 1000%. What I was gonna say, going back to Alfred's point about Becky coming off like unobtainable, the one thing that I did get from her, and that's going back to the point on how relatable she was and how cool she was, is like she really is playing like I'm the star, I'm the superstar, I'm too big of a deal, I do things whenever I want, and that is something that she never came off as. And I do think that this heel character can work if she let the you're the biggest star in the company right now get to her head per se. Like that could be a very interesting story, and eventually another babyface turn when she comes back to reality, down the road.
With Naomi, I see what you're saying about a potential storyline, and I hope that's the case, because why would they have her on TV? But what in the F are they doing with Toni Storm tonight backstage, having that little exchange with Dolph?
He's going to get Rick Boogs over, man. The guy's probably going to win the Royal Rumble. If you look at how he's getting booked right now, he's a rising star of the company.
Oh, he is, absolutely. So he had his first singles match tonight against Dolph. Rick won, huge celebration. I'm telling you, like, Rick Boogs is over. Also, now that my wife pointed out, it sounds like they're saying Rick Boobs. That's all I ever hear.
So now it's all I'm going to hear.
Yeah.
And he's thick. Can we talk about his thickness? He's fat.
Let me tell you something. I know the signs. When Vince McMahon has found himself a new toy and he wants to play around, this is what they did with The Miz. When they started investing in The Miz, they started showing off his legs, and Vince came to Miz backstage and said, you should show your legs off more. I feel like Vince might have just met Rick Boogs, and this guy works for us, and like is now you're seeing him win. He's at the forefront of this thing where Shinsuke's supposed to be the Intercontinental champion, and he's just getting all this TV time, and now he's got the girl, and I think they're interested in building this guy into a real. I think this is the beginning of
a real rock star, like a real actual rock star.
Do you think Elias is kicking himself like, if only I'd played an electric guitar?
Elias should have just came back as like Macho Man reincarnated or something. That would be fun.
Yeah. Well, he still can't.
He looks like him. Also, Shinsuke Nakamura looks like a whole king out there, rooting for Boots in the crown with the white jacket. What a legend.
Seth Rollins just dismantled Cesaro tonight.
Good.
Yeah. It was good. I feel bad, though, given Cesaro getting that Mania win, everything. Like, this was just about showing Seth. This is basically reestablishing Seth's credibility to go toe-to-toe with Edge, and Edge coming out there tonight to tell us that even though Seth lost to Edge, that he's a threat and the rematch is going to be, highly contested.
I like the idea of these two guys feuding over how similar they really are. Who is the real ultimate opportunist here? Who is the, who's going to outsmart the other? I really think this is interesting. And somebody that, years ago, I've been a big Seth Rollins fan. I started watching wrestling more recently, right? So I adore Seth Rollins, but a lot of times people always compare him to Edge. So to see them work together, I think it's awesome. I personally thought they stole the show at SummerSlam, so running it again doesn't make me upset, right? I want to see them go at it again, but I don't know. It doesn't make any sense that both of you are talking about the Universal title last week, and then now this week you're just gonna go after each other and put that on hold. Then they should have not had them mention the Universal title last week and just go after each other.
I do tend to agree with that, but I think it speaks more to how personal this feud has gotten, because the more they delve into an area where it's getting personal, it'll kind of start to sound ridiculous. And then I'm going to be the Universal Champion when it's like, it's about the guy trying to break his neck. Let's talk about the health of human beings or whatnot. And I'm going to say early on, I think the finish of Edge versus Seth Rollins is going to win via spear. I think that's where they're going with this.
Oh, yes, I would love it. Or he's going to counter the spear into a pedigree like he did to Roman Reigns at that Money in the Bank. Oh, that was such a beautiful counter.
Excellent.
Yeah. Happy Corbin was out tonight on the Kevin Owens show.
Yeah, he was.
And Jake Paul.
Logan Paul.
Or Logan Paul, sorry. I get them confused.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Jake Paul. Did you guys watch the fight?
I did.
Wasn't it better than you thought it was going to be? Like, I was kind of mad because I was like, why is this better than I thought? But then again, Woodley is always a miss, really. So
yeah, he just couldn't finish. He just
he should
I hope he held back a little bit, but I've seen a lot of Woodley fights, so this is he does do this where he's in control and kind of coasts.
He hesitates too much, and it's just I feel like he should get kicked out of the hood for losing to Jake Paul. Like if you lose your hood card. Like, if you are in Puerto Rico, you're not allowed in the barrio if you lose to Jake Paul. Like, I'm sorry, you're not coming back. Sorry, off topic.
Alonzo wants to know where your hat is, Alfred.
It's here. I'll bring it out when I feel like it. But it's here. And
the hat's over. Fantastic. The hat is over.
Yeah, you need to wear it.
That's good. I'm glad. Baron Corbin kind of starting to steal my gimmick, but mine's wide brim. His like a regular fedora. So, he needs to step his game up.
Yeah. I mean, this was good.
Logan Paul has heat, man. Like,
yeah.
You talk about the crowd noise. Like, they didn't need any crowd. So, like, when an actual heel comes out to the ring, it's so embarrassing. Like, this company is supposed to know how to do baby faces and heels.
Right.
And when an actual heel from the outside world comes in, that's the reaction that they're piping in. But it's real life. And, like, I love seeing Logan Paul on WTV because it's like Andy Kaufman or any of those when people used to actually get reactions.
Yeah, although
it reminds you of what a heel heat really is supposed to sound like. He really has it. I thought Baron Corbin was so good tonight, by the way. I felt bad. I even felt bad for Kevin Owens. I'm like, the sympathetic baby face. I was like, why are they treating him this way? Like, he gave you $100 when you were broke, bro. Like, come on.
Oh, and Corbin's going over. He's going to be on a winning streak with this. I think KO is back on his way to hiding in the porta potty.
No, stop.
They really do seem to be reinvested in Baron Corbin. Now he's going to go on a run. And KO is just kind of in the middle of, he's like the utility guy right now.
When's his contract up?
Oh, that's a good question. But I heard he signed like a 5-year deal not too long ago.
Yeah, not too long ago.
I mean, I love him. I want the best for him, but it seems like
he's not being utilized properly.
It seems like he's not what Vince is enamored with right now. Or, you know what I mean? Like, he seems like, but it's interesting, though, because at the same time, look at the push Finn's getting. And with Finn, you would be like smaller guy. Like, some stuff almost doesn't make sense to what the prevailing logic is with NXT. Speaking of which, tonight, embellished NXT promo. We saw a little mock-up of what the new set's going to look like.
Yeah.
Going to be very interesting. Excited for Tuesday. We'll see. It'll be a whole new show.
Yeah.
No, it's not just, it's next Tuesday. It's the 14th.
Yeah, we still got to sit through a tape one.
Another week.
Yeah. Antoine Fair, $5 saying, so Boog's sole survivor of a Roman versus Lashley Survivor Series 10-man tag instead of champion versus champion, question mark?
You guys joke around. Listen, I know when Vince is falling in love, and maybe I'm completely off here and I'm just being paranoid, but I think this Rick Boogs guy, it feels like they have big plans for this man. And like, it feels like they just recently came around to like how this guy could be a superstar.
Shinsuke has to get jealous and turn heel.
Yeah, I think that's where, hopefully they don't accelerate that, but because I like these two together. I think that's where I really started liking Rick Boogs, is how him and Shinsuke play off of each other. So let's
if they're going to turn Shinsuke heel, it better not be a nut shot to Boogs the AJ Styles. Like, we cannot do that again.
Didn't him and AJ just have a match where they just kept kicking each other in the nuts for like a couple minutes?
Yes, they did. And they had like, was it Last Man Standing that had no finish because of ball punches? Like, oh my god,
that was awful. That was terrible booking. I remember that.
And that was supposed to be the best feud ever too. Like, they robbed us.
Justin Lopez, $4.99. Corbin should beat Nakamura for the IC title. After all, his string of bad luck started when he lost the crown to him. There you go.
Poetic. Very poetic.
Yeah.
Wow.
I actually like that idea in terms of storytelling, and like I'm sure this wasn't the plan to begin with, but that would be a nice little bow to the Baron Corbin rise.
We don't need a bow. He don't need a bow. His outfit doesn't need a bow. He wears his shirt open like the. No,
Go with a tie.
Justin Lopez, don't be manifesting that kind of evilness.
Sami Zayn beat Dominic Mysterio.
Yes.
No heel turn yet.
Yeah.
This is like, it's taking too long. I'm about to come out there and punch Rey Mysterio for him. Like, it needs to just happen already.
That's the thing about this heel turn is like, if it comes out of nowhere and it seems like he's being a jerk, that'll really help the heel turn. But at this point, Rey, like, once again meddled in his kid's business, and we can all relate to having maybe a parent come in and meddle too much and be like, I was watching Rey like, Dad, stay out of my business. Like I'm starting to get
Rey is the one that turns.
Oh, see now at this point, there's more juice in that to me.
Yeah, because you're really like
Rey Mysterio as a heel in 2021. I mean, come on, what are we doing?
I mean,
that actually does make sense. He is acting like more of a heel. I mean,
yeah, but he could just like slapping and be like, I should have lost that match and let you go with the Guerreros and like walk away. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Your life would have sucked. Like it could be like there could be some good promos.
Yeah.
You can get deep there.
Exclusive news insider with $1.99. Man, reporting the exclusive news must really pay well. Screw Roman versus Rock. Let's get Rock versus Brock too.
Yes, I always wanted to see them run that again. 1000%. I'm with you. ENI.
Dion saying Issa to manage heel Dominic.
Okay, but I'm changing his last name to Guerrero. Is that the case?
I think it's solid.
I'd like to see it.
I think it's solid. I think if I think that was the solid. So we had the Universal title match to close the show tonight. Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns. This promo, this idea setting up, because I almost tweeted this the other day, and I was like, not worth dwelling. I was going to say the greatest what if of professional wrestling in recent memory is what if Finn Balor had not gotten injured after his being the first Universal Champion. So I like that they called that back tonight with this match. Although I think the what if was still Roman would have probably taken it off of him probably at Survivor Series that year or not. Yeah. I mean, I think that would have been the likely trajectory because he was set to feud with Kevin Owens, and I'm sure Roman would have been the inevitable pivot, especially given how high they were on him at the time. But tonight, though, man, we knew how this match was ending, but they did two really interesting things. One, they had the Usos come out and soften him up with his ribs so he could look strong in defeat. Yeah. And then two, I mean, they did give him a lot of hope spots tonight. Mm-hmm. There were, I mean, I saw someone make the comment like Roman is the master of the 2.999 kick out.
Yes. There was one in there after the Kubrick Garage that I was like, oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah, so, I mean, it seemed like he could win. But then what's interesting, I mean, we all knew Finn wasn't going to win. But then to have the tease when Roman's leaving with the red light flash and the heartbeat sound, it's suggesting the demon is, I mean, I love that they're giving Finn this build, but the ending, there's no scenario where Finn Balor is the Universal Champion. I mean, Roman's keeping that belt. Even if it's a three-way match, it just means that Finn's taking the pin instead of Brock.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the fundamental, I think, problem with this. As much as I like the Roman Reigns character, the fundamental flaw, and this is kind of outside of Roman Reigns' character, is the fact that WWE presents everybody within the roster as chum bait to Roman Reigns. Like, this is a great match, and they did a good job. If I hadn't have known the storyline going in that Roman Reigns was this really powerful champion, they did a good job convincing you that Finn Balor might possibly win this. And it was really encouraging to see Finn Balor get protected by getting attacked before, and it's not like he got squashed. Because I figured that he was going to get squashed and just like Roman Reigns is going to beat him in like 5 minutes. But yeah, it's very interesting that they're doing this. And it's like, so Roman Reigns kicked out of the coup de grace, which I don't think we've ever seen. And now he's going to beat the demon, which I don't think we've ever seen. So he is single-handedly going to completely extinguish like one of the better top stars that WWE has right now.
I don't know. Maybe we don't get to Finn and Roman, and maybe we draft him to Raw and you can continue that push without having Roman having to beat the demon. And we just like, in the meantime, while that happens, we can see Finn evolving into having to resort back to getting, back to the demon, because I don't want the demon to be beaten, but I don't think that Finn is the person to take the belt off of Roman, clearly.
And I love Finn. I've often been told that I look like a much fatter version of Finn Balor. But like, I don't see a scenario where he dethrones Bobby or Roman. I just don't think they see him as the top guy, given everything we've heard about behind the scenes what they want to do with talent right now.
Yeah, they don't. I don't either. The only way I'd see Finn Balor as the top guy is if he was the demon permanently. Then we can talk.
Yeah. Right. Agreed. I wanted to just go back real quick to the backstage segment with Roman and Paul Heyman, when Paul Heyman was like, we have a problem with Brock Lesnar, and Roman was like, no, you got a problem with Brock Lesnar. Oh my God, I absolutely love that moment.
It'll be good next week.
But them teasing this just makes me wonder if we're just trying to like book on the go and not really know where we're going, because they did give Finn a really good match today. But at the same time, if you go back and watch this entire amazing, beautiful, sexy 365 days of Roman Reigns championship, he has put on amazing matches with every single person. It started with Jey Uso all the way to Cesaro, Edge, Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor. Like every single feud and match that he's put on has been this good. So you know, it's like, if I don't see this as a push for Finn yet. Bringing the Demon back will be a push for Finn, but this, look, Cesaro was in that position, Kevin Owens was in that position. Look where they're at now. So what's to tell you that Finn is just not a placeholder for now?
I mean, maybe they're like, hey, we got all these Fiend masks. We can repurpose these as Demon masks.
I was just going to tell you. So when the lights, I don't know if you saw my reaction, but when the light flashed red, I was like, oh my God, it's the Demon. No, it's Brock. Oh my God, it's the Fiend. I don't know what's happening anymore. So many thoughts just crossed my mind with the red light that it just like, I needed to shut down and restart.
Yeah. A lot of people really just like red light gimmick. Maybe they should put a moratorium on that to where nobody else uses red light.
Stellar just Lopez 499 saying setting up Roman to beat the Demon, which is the only thing Finn has going for him on the main roster. Yeah, he'll be in AEW by next year. That's what I want to start asking. When's Finn's contract up? Like,
stop that, Glenn.
It only takes so many. At some point, the diminishing marginal returns will come, and just because you're sad and you want to go to AEW is not going to make you into a star. They're going to eventually run out of people to push.
I was thinking about that tonight. Well, I was thinking about that tonight. I mean, like, okay, with AEW, think about the early promise with the Elite. Think about all that talent we saw at the first All Out, but then it's like, okay, we've got Dustin. That makes sense given Cody. We got Moxley come in. Jericho's an anchor there. Like, looking at this tonight, even with Miro, with Malachi, like, this is really starting to seem less and less like an upstart promotion elevating and building new talent the more that they put these WWE guys, former WWE guys, into the top spots.
But they are doing an excellent job at building with the stars their homegrowns, right? If you look at the card this weekend, you have CM Punk versus Darby, you have NJF versus Jericho, you have like all of these people that we know, Miro versus Eddie Kingston. So if you're tuning in to watch CM Punk, you're going to see a lot of familiar faces fighting guys that you're not familiar with. So I will say they're balancing their scale very well.
And also, to their credit, in addition to having their homegrown stars, they're doing a good job of recreating the guys who are in WWE, because it does not feel like the WWE versions are in AEW. It does feel like a different version.
Yeah.
No, it's different, but I'm saying to the casual viewer, to the people that are tuning in, and you have to think at a point, still look at all the daylight between, not in the key demo, but overall look at the daylight between the Raw, SmackDown, and AEW ratings. Like, I don't know that former WWE talent is going to be what moves that needle. And that's kind of like what we're talking about. The point is that there are diminishing returns. They do have to tell compelling stories. And I mean, let's talk about this. We were saying off the air, I'm excited to see CM Punk versus Darby Allen, but like Positive Phil, who's just happy to be back, like, I'm not feeling the heat in this storyline. I know they had a face-off on Wednesday, but this tonight just was kind of, you know?
Yeah. And like because it's two baby faces, first of all, and it's really hard to generate something like that. It's also his first feud back. He didn't have too long to promote this with Darby Allen. So they're not really telling a story. They're kind of in a holding pattern to kind of start off. So I expect once he gets his sea legs under him, he even turns heel possibly, I think he's going to be off to the races.
Well, and remember, I'm sorry, Issa.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, CM Punk is at his best when he's biting the hand that feeds him, when he's pissed off, when he's rebelling against something. Happy-go-lucky Phil isn't. I mean, I'm glad for him. It's great to see him back, but that's not what puts butts in seats and sells tickets.
Yeah, I really wish we could have had CM Punk return. And I'm not going to take it away because I told you guys how perfect I felt it was. But if it would have been just a couple of weeks before so that you can get the aura of CM Punk returning out of the way. And then really just having cut promos about, can I still go with these young guys? Because that's what I'm invested in. With them being baby faces, there's no heat between them. So we just like, me personally, I just want to know if he still got it. On Wednesday, the crowd is chanting, "You still got it." And I'm like, how do we know? We don't know. Let him have a match first. Like, we don't. I'm sure he does. He's not gonna come out there and make a ass out of himself, but we don't know. So I would have really bought in. I'm bought in period because it's CM Punk. So we'll. That's why you could have put him with anybody, and it would have worked because we all want to see him. But I would have been invested in him telling the story. Can I still go? I'm back because I want to know if I still got it.
Yeah. It just does feel at a certain point like, what was that spot on Taylor Swift's last big tour? Where it's like, now I'm bringing out Robbie Williams. Now I'm bringing out Little Mix. Like every city she's in.
Too. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, here, look how much fun it is me performing with Tegan and Sarah. Like, it's just kind of like, I feel like this is CM Punk being like, isn't it great I'm wrestling this person?
Yeah,
you know?
he's really basking in the honeymoon period, especially because he's in Chicago. But I think he's going out of his way to do this because he knows that down the road, it's going to be a different Phil.
Yeah, I mean, the greatest thing.
I can't wait to have my ice cream bar on
Sunday.
Well,
there you go.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I'm looking. Everybody's excited for this match and this. I'm like, I just want my ice cream bar.
If he on Wednesday cuts a promo and he's like, I put up the best pay-per-view numbers ever, like locker room, you're welcome. I've legitimized this company, and puts a big target on his back, then we're in business.
Yeah, but that doesn't have to be immediately. Like, you can still ride these waves. And then eventually there's going to be that backlash to CM Punk of people saying, oh, God, this again. And then he can lean into that because, wrestling fans, they love you, they hate you, they love you again. And so when they start to hate him, then he could really lean into that.
Yeah. So we open time with Malachi Black versus Lee Johnson.
That entrance is so amazing. I love his entrance. And to your point earlier where you say how they're doing such a good job at repackaging these guys, I was actually on FaceTime with my nephew, and he loves wrestling, but he hasn't really been paying attention to AEW until, shocker, CM Punk came back. So I faced the phone to the TV, and it took him a minute to realize it was Aleister Black. He was like, I love this entrance. Who is this guy? And I'm like, do you not know who he is? Like, I waited, he takes the mask, and I'm like, you get it? And he's like, no way. Like, it took him a little while to realize who he was. So I do think they do a good job repackaging this guy. This guy doesn't feel like Aleister Black. He feels like Malachi Black. It's a different version, and I like it.
Yeah, he came off like a complete superstar. I would have liked something or any, talking about repackaging Malachi Black. I would have liked a packaging of Lee Johnson, an explanation as to why he's here. Like, there is something to be talked about in terms of him saving Arn Anderson and whatnot. And they're going out of the way to try to get Malachi Black booed in a lot of these situations because, I mean, he's just so awesome that it's very hard to boo a guy like that. It's even hard to boo a guy like that if you don't know anything about the guy that they're facing. Like,
and they gave him a lot of offense. I thought Lee Johnson was going out in a minute, and I'm like, wait a minute, he's like putting up a fight here. He looks amazing, and I wish we would have known a little bit more about him as well.
I'll tell you though, Dustin Rhodes running out.
Reason to tell you, yeah. No, go ahead.
Dustin Rhodes running out after the match. I want to see Dustin and Malachi put on something like Cody and Dustin did.
Yeah, I love Dustin Rhodes. He's so consistent when it comes to promos in terms of cutting great promos. That guy is just a great promo machine. Now, people don't talk enough about how automatic that guy is on the microphone. Yeah, amazing. And I can't wait to see it. That
run was slow. Like, if you're coming out to save me, can you hurry up a little bit?
A brisk jog, no rush. Why wind yourself? Don't break a sweat.
It was more like a pageant walk.
Pageant walk, yeah, just out waving to everyone with the pageant wave. Antoine Fair, $5. That backlash is here with CM Punk. Me listening to podcasts and wrestling Twitter saying they're getting impatient.
Yeah, see, look, they're already starting to turn on him. You guys are going to turn this guy heel.
We've all built it up so much in our heads. I mean, people have been thinking about this for 7 years.
Yeah, sure. But he's only been back for a couple of weeks.
I know, but this is the problem. And this is part of the problem with AEW too. It's kind of like AEW now is at that point where, it's like when you're new relationship. Everything's new. Everything's a surprise. Everything's exciting. Everything's passionate. And then you settle in and you realize, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with this person. And they'll surprise me from time to time. There's going to be lots of ups, but there's also going to be a lot of Monday to Fridays where we're just trying to get through the weekend.
Yeah, it does sound like the viewing experience, but I do feel like it's still, relatively speaking, in the honeymoon phase of the relationship. Maybe it's toward the end of the honeymoon phase, but there's still somewhat of a honeymoon vibe in terms of AEW.
And then there's
I don't know. Me and CM Punk are still, we swiped on each other and we're still messaging each other. Like we haven't even gone on our first date. Our first date is Sunday, and we'll take it from there. But we match. That's what we're at right now.
CM Punk literally has me blocked on Twitter, so I don't know what that would translate to in terms of maybe a divorce. It's like a divorce with us.
And then there's Monday Night Raw, where you're like, you don't understand. No. They're only an asshole when they've been drinking. You don't see like the good side. Like all the times when everything's good, you just see the bad things. It's very, very codependent.
Monday Night Raw is the reason why everybody has commitment issues, right? Like that ex that gave you all the issues, it damaged you and it broke you. Absolutely. What are we doing here?
It's Friday. It's Friday. I'm sleep deprived.
I wonder. Wait, Alfred, what's your favorite wrestling show right now? I want to know which wrestling show you're taking to Applebee's.
Oh, to Applebee's. I would say right now, Dynamite. I'd say Dynamite. Dynamite's very consistent.
Dynamite is your Applebee's
thing? Take Dynamite to Applebee's.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Maybe get to know Jade Cargill a little bit more.
And there's NXT, which up till recently was like, they just keep finding new ways to impress me.
Oh no, NXT is friend zone.
Really?
But you still let it buy you drinks. You know what I mean? Like you let NXT buy you drinks, but then you're like, oh, I gotta go to the restroom, and then you don't come back, and you leave them by
with
the
NXT.
Yeah,
wow.
NXT
which show's a friend with benefit?
Rampage, because it's quick,
Rampage. I would say so too. Yeah, it's like
this conversation is going to take a turn, and I'm going to be saying things I regret. So we're really.
I think this is the most fun we've had.
No, I'm just saying, me and NXT have been hitting it for years now, and it's.
Oh yeah, it's been good. I mean, yeah, but then you friend zone them because you found somebody else. Like you date them until you find the one. That's NXT, but they're not the one. But you keep them there. They're in the. You get in a fight. You go and text NXT and be like, "Hey, Samoa Joe, what's up?"
WYD.
or you see NXT watch your story, so you upload one on your story, just for NXT.
I love how specific these analogies are getting.
I'm just gonna keep drinking. You guys keep drinking.
Oh, man. So what's next? Oh, Miro and Eddie Kingston going toe to toe on the mic, talking about their gods, their respective gods. Tonight.
Miro gets swiped all the time. Like he matches everyone. He's so awesome. Like legit. I love Miro, but I love Eddie Kingston. I am so torn. Now that you took Pac and Andrade away from me, I guess this match I'm excited for. I don't want the title off of Miro, but I do think Eddie Kingston really needs a big win at some point.
Yeah, I definitely don't want the title off of Miro, and I definitely hope Miro wins. But I think that in short order, in just a couple of weeks, they've made this like into one of my matches that I'm most interested in, because I love the story that Eddie Kingston is telling, that your neck is your weakness, and I've got all these neck moves, and that's a great thing about because they're going to lay out this big giant, this invincible giant, but he established that he has one weak spot, so it doesn't really hurt Miro that he got laid out, because Eddie Kingston has established a weak spot, and I just love the promos back and forth. These two have great chemistry. It's kind of like the CM Punk Darby Allen thing, where I want this to stretch out so they can tell more of a story, but I really do hope Miro wins because he's on fire right now.
I will say, though, that I feel extremely disrespected by Eddie Kingston putting that Yankee hat on the ground like that. Like, he should have just found a chair or, like, put it somewhere else or going and fight with the hat. I don't take off my Yankee hat when I'm going to fight someone. So I don't understand why he had to take his off.
Yeah. I'm from New York, and I know that.
The only women's wrestling match we saw tonight was Chris Statlander in a 2-on-1 handicap match.
Price leaving so.
Can I just shout out the best line of the night? Redeem these nuts.
Oh, yes.
Yo, I popped for that. So, like, I should have not popped that hard. I was like, I felt like a child. I was like, why am I a child? Why does this still make me laugh every time somebody does it?
That's good.
Oh, it got me good.
Chris Statlander won. Still doing the alien thing.
Yeah, very much so. I thought she looked fantastic in this match. And here's in defense of the alien thing, she does do a lot of really unique moves, and the announcers put it over like, where would she ever learn something like that? And the idea is that, well, she's an alien. She's got a different offense. So they are committed to this, but they had like that great spot where she had Rebel sitting on her shoulders and she was able to hold on to Jamie Hayter, who Jamie Hayter is all muscle. She's built, and like she's able to hold both these women. And that was very, very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was fun. It was a fun, fast match. It did what it needed to do. If you are not familiar with Statlander and you're gonna buy this pay-per-view, at least you saw her tonight looking amazing, and you go, okay, well now I see why she's challenging Britt Baker, because I didn't think she was like on the scene that much. So then like this feud didn't. There's a lot of feuds going into this All Out that didn't really have enough time to build.
And then Red Velvet having her back after to even the odds. This was good. And then we had a build up for tonight with 2.0 Darby Allen. Daniel Garcia events Darby Allen with Sting and 2.0, and then CM Punk on commentary. People are saying in the chat, what fan? All the CM Punk fans in the audience, someone offers him a beer. Like
that was so stupid. I was like, what are you doing, bro?
that guy was clearly too drunk to be there, because like Punk like declined and gave him like, well, what do you? I'm straight edge. I'm not gonna have a drink. And then the guy like started squaring up against CM Punk, and Punk had to like back him down. Like, calm down, brother. Like, I hope that guy got kicked out.
Yeah,
me too. It was weird. The whole thing was weird. And I kept thinking too, I'm like, stop jumping onto the crowd. You're gonna get hurt. You're not gonna make it to Sunday if you keep doing this dumb shit. It's like, we just want to see you wrestle at least once. Be careful, please.
I just the last time we see CM Punk jump in the crowd. I think he might.
Yeah, I think that's over. For a variety of reasons. But no, look, Darby won tonight. The CM Punk got in the ring. They faced off after this. I think this it's going to be good to see CM Punk wrestle again. But I don't know. I'm not feeling a huge story with this match.
Right. I agree.
I will say, for their defense, you don't need it. CM Punk is wrestling again, and everybody wants to see it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they book him from here on. Now,
you get happy-go-lucky CM Punk in a feud with MJF, or someone who's going to...
We all want to see that.
CM Punk. I promise you those promos will be very epic. But
yeah, Chris Jericho, anyone that's going to bring it to CM Punk. You could have Punk as a baby face, but you just need to give him a heel. The problem is Darby Allin is so damn likable.
Yeah, so they'll do like a babyface match here. I will say that what my favorite part of this match was in terms of the commentary, Chris Jericho and CM Punk being on commentary together.
Was good.
And the conversation they were having was so good in terms of getting over CM Punk. A lot of like what you were saying, Issa, in terms of CM Punk's mindset, they were getting that across on commentary with Jericho asking him like, what's it like to be back? And CM Punk admitting he's nervous. I was fascinated by what was going on there. The match was fine, but I was fascinated with the commentary.
Me too, and he did that promo on Wednesday as well, which I was a little bit triggered when he got attacked because he was talking. He even said there, I said, I'm a little scared. And I'm like, yes, that's what I want to see, because, and that's why I told you when the crowd started chanting, you still got it. And I'm like, he doesn't. And that's why he's trying to tell us that he doesn't know if he still got it. Like, let him tell the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I caught onto that on commentary as well. I found it super interesting, because I will think that the pressure on CM Punk's shoulders right now, even though we're all so in love that he's back, for that match on Sunday has to be humongous, and I want somebody to bring that out of him in a promo, in an interview, in a conversation.
But he's not. If he was going full aw shucks, I don't know if I still have it, he'd be bringing up his UFC losses.
No, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, though. Like, there's no way in hell he is losing that match Sunday night.
First of all, the second match was called a no contest, so he didn't lose the second match. Okay.
Never happened.
Never
and
happened.
I will say, they're probably saving up the big UFC disc for when MJF is going to have those bars. Oh, she's going to understand CM Punk as an UFC fighter?
Siri doesn't understand CM Punk.
Hey, not everybody gets him. I get it.
I didn't even press anything.
No, she's just talking. She's just giving her opinion about CM Punk.
Yeah.
So this was a good night for wrestling, but hey, everybody get your rest this weekend, because Sunday night all out. Who's doing the podcast
this weekend? Not me.
Chuck and Raj.
Send me the link so I can pop in drunk from outside.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. Let's do that. I'll send you the link. Featuring Issa.
Roger's gonna be like, "What the hell?"
This was
How'd you get
good.
the link? Oh.
Yeah. A lot of wrestling tonight. A lot of builds. We'll see where it all goes.
It'll be a fun show.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to see CM Punk first match back and experience that entrance in Chicago. It's gonna be epic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, for live updates on that, follow NYC Demon Diva. That's Diva with a 1. Check out her reaction videos. Follow Alfred at This Is Nasty. Alfred, I saw some more criticism of AEW on your Twitter feed.
Yes, it's there. I'm gonna criticize him when I criticize him, and I'm gonna praise him when I feel like praising him. But listen, we saw Lee Johnson tonight. Missed opportunity to at least tell a story about a character, and this is just far too common with black wrestlers in AEW. And I'm gonna be the one to point that out. One of many people who have pointed it out.
Do you think that Jay wins the Battle Royal?
The women's battle royal. I think does. I think they're building up.
I know, but I don't know why you would put her and Thunder Rosa and all these women that should be winning it on this match. Like, I like that they're protecting her, but it made me question that. If you're gonna put her there, she should win.
Yeah, that'd be great if she did.
That's who I want to win personally.
There you go. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein on Twitter. Follow me for a couple tweets about wrestling a week, and the rest of the time, just random things I'm watching.
Yeah.
Went down a weird rabbit hole with the 1950s Mickey Mouse Club last night.
Wow. Cartoon?
No, with the Net Funicello and Cubby.
Okay.
I see. Yeah, it was middle of the night. I was playing Fortnite. I was watching Back to the Beach with Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon. A great parody of 60s beach movies if you've never seen it. And then I was like, I want to check out some Annette on the Mickey Mouse Club. Why not? YouTube has everything.
That's amazing.
Yes. Back to the Beach, though, man. That movie is funny. That was the first thing. I was talking about this with my wife. That was the first thing where we saw people sending themselves up. Kind of like where the Brady Bunch movie did that, when you had something that was serious and then you do a version and it's a parody, but you're making fun of yourself. That was the first one. Pee Wee Herman shows up for a musical number, does Surfing Bird in the middle of it. God. Like, that movie is a trip. And it's got the kid from Better Off Dead. The $2 kid plays Frankie and Annette's son, who just antagonizes them the entire film. He's hilarious. Highly recommend that movie, Back to the Beach, if you've never seen it before.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
It does.
It's really good. Well, have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy All Out on Sunday. We'll get you back here for Tuesday, NXT, the end of an era on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Have a great weekend.
No more friend zone.